Hey everybody, and today I'm here to review The Rise of the Planet of the Apes. So, with King of the Planet of the Apes coming out, I might as well review the Planet of the Apes movies. Even though Little Blue, the YouTuber, has reviewed the Planet of the Apes movies, I thought I'd review the Caesar trilogy. I don't feel like reviewing the older ones from like the 60s. I've only seen a little bit of the first one, but I decided to watch The Rise of the Planet of the Apes. So this came out in 2011. So yeah, it was a bit ago, but this movie ain't that old. But like, it's about a group of chimps who are being experimented on by scientists, and they are held captive at some facility, and it's up for these group of apes to escape and be freed and join their own society. So I gotta say, I really like this movie. Like, I think easily the best part of this movie is the CGI and the performance by Andy Serkis. So I really like Andy Serkis. He is like we already know this, but like he's the king of like motion capture. Like when he played Snoke in the Star Wars sequel trilogy, he played Caesar, obviously. He played Gollum. Like he really can capture these characters in just a simple CGI form. And the way the apes interact, it's good. Like they use sign language to speak. But everything starts with Caesar when he's getting tested on by the scientists. But that's where he meets James Franco's character, Will, I think his name is. And he decides that the ape is going to be his caretaker. And they're having a good time. They're playing. They're going through their daily lives. And it seems like things are going well. He even visits the zoo. And he's even put in like a baby carriage by James Franco. It's a lovable relationship for sure. Like you feel the dynamic between them. I gotta say, I'm a bit surprised that James Franco is in this movie, even though I mainly just know him from the Spider-Man movies. But I think he does a good job in this movie as the kind caretaker of Caesar. And he even meets a girl, one of the doctors at the zoologist. Like, she's nice, but she doesn't do too much in this movie. She's kind of just the supporter for Will and Caesar. But as Caesar grows up, we actually see, like, years go by as he's going through the trials of, like, jumping in the woods. Like, we see him enjoying the forest. But everything takes a turn when Caesar attacks one of their neighbors who's like a jerk or something. But it causes Caesar to be sent to his prison, and Will is doing everything in his power to try to get Caesar back. But it's just not working out, and he has to wait like 90 days to get Caesar back. But Caesar is trying to get along with all the apes. He feels lonely, but I think he starts to get along with them. But it isn't until we meet Tom Felton's character in Harry Potter, Draco Malfoy. He plays another douchebag character. Draco was a mean dude, and now he's playing a guy. I forget his name, but like he is like a big jerk in this movie. Like he is mean towards the apes. He sprays them with hose water. Like he tases them, and it's sad. But the big threat of this movie is this government guy. And I got a fun fact. He's the voice actor who played Agent Callus in Star Wars Rebels. I just felt like putting that out there. But he has a big plan to exterminate the apes since he feels they are a threat. But as this is going on, the apes are like going through their jungle. They're trying to plan their escape plan. But I feel the best part in this movie, I'm kind of jumping a bit, but like once Caesar is like fighting back against Tom Felton's character, like he's like trying to torture him, he's bullying him, and it's causing the apes to go wild. But I honestly thought Caesar wasn't ever gonna talk in this movie, but he does. He ends up grabbing Tom Felton, and he's like, no, and you can tell that's Andy Serkis. And that's how you know the ape is super pissed off. And I think Tom Felton gets some karma because earlier I think Caesar does escape his little cell, and he tries to get a message to Will to come together to get all the apes out. And I think he like comes back and he tries to save the other apes. I think he ends up freeing them all. And the way to get back at Tom Felton's character, like he literally grabs, like he has like a taser in his hand, and they end up spraying him with the same hose water, and he ends up getting short circuited and he dies. And yeah, he got his karma for bullying and being a jerk to the apes. But the apes managed to escape where they are. And it kind of reminds me of like an Andor with a one way out. It literally has Andy Serkis in it. Like, Caesar is literally gathering all the apes to escape the zoo. And they're like trying to get through the various guards, but they're too tough. But I think the finale of this movie all takes place at the San Francisco Bridge, as they're all gathered together and they're trying to escape. And I think Caesar and this one ape, who I forget what kind of chimpanzee he is, but he's like the one with the orange fur. Like, I think you know who I'm talking about. But Caesar and him like get along very well, and they like, I think they're mainly together in the final battle in this movie. And there are helicopters, people with guns, and the apes start using the guns. They're like taking down all their forces. People are like freaking out about these apes. And like, I think the big government guy from earlier, I think he dies in this movie when I think one of the apes sacrifices himself to destroy the helicopter that they're trying to shoot at the apes at, and the helicopter lands near the edge of the bridge, but it ends up the government guy's like begging for mercy. So yeah, he's getting some karma too. But the ape, I think Caesar decides to let him go, just fall to his death, and he dies, drowning in the water. And the apes are definitely wild. Like, they're tough. Like, you do not mess with them. And it's interesting how these apes are intelligent. Like, they are really smart. Honestly, I always had this theory that, like, us humans are ancestors to apes. Like, I always thought of that theory. It's a wild theory for sure. And then I think the apes all escape into the woods. And Caesar has a final talk with James Franco's Will. And he basically says, this is Caesar's home now. He, like, says it, and he's, like, slowly forming English. And so he runs off into the woods. I think that's the rise of the Planet of the Apes. So this was a really good movie. Like, this is a good start to a trilogy. And I don't know if this is based off the older movies from the 60s. Some people are saying it is. Some people are saying it isn't. It's just a reboot. So it could be up to your interpretation. I honestly see this as like a reboot, since it's like, I think it shows like the apes like in a more modern world. And then, like, back in, like, those 60 movies where a world was definitely a different time when movies were getting made back then. But I feel like Planet of the Apes is, like, a peak of, like, what made cinema so great. Like, they were the movies that like, started this whole ape thing, which was cool. So, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, a really great movie. 10 out of 10. Y'all should check it out. And I think I'll review the other two movies. I've watched them recently. So yeah, I got a fun fact. This is the first time I watched the Planet of the Apes movies. But I got nothing else to say about this movie. This movie has great action. Yeah, and it has a great like message behind how us humans treat animals. Like, it's like a good message for like animal rights for sure. So yes. So that being said, thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.